Our quest for cleaner and greener environment continues as we celebrate Earth Day today. The theme for this year is Invest in Our Planet. It's a call to act boldly, innovate broadly, and implement measures equitably to help preserve and protect planet Earth. Our guest for today is one of the climate leaders working towards finding solutions to the climate crisis. She's Nazrin Camille Castro, the manager of Climate Reality Project in the Philippines. Climate Reality Project is an organization founded by former United States Vice President Al Gore. It aims to bring the world together to solve this climate crisis and make sustainable future a reality. Nazrin now joins us on the program. Hi, Nazka. Welcome to New Day. It's great to have you.
Good morning, Paolo. Thank you for having me.
Happy Earth Day to you.
Yes, happy Earth Day.
All right, let's get straight into it. There's a lot to talk about, but let's focus first on the current situation that we have here in the country. It has been more than a decade since we've been talking about this inconvenient truth. What do you think is the biggest threat to the environment nowadays?
Plain and simple, it's climate change. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released its recent report saying that climate change is a threat to human well-being, at the same time our planetary health. But you know what, Paolo, I consider the lack of apathy and urgency of our government to act on the climate action, which is most troubling, because all countries have already agreed that we have 1.5 degrees Celsius as our warming limit, which is enshrined in the Paris Agreement. But what's happening? The world is getting warmer and warmer, and more populations are being at risk because of this climate change impacts.
Right. Let's talk a little bit more about that. The Paris Agreement, this is a legally binding agreement, isn't it? Where does the Philippines stand on its commitment to this Paris Agreement? And as we know, it really should be something that all of us all over the world should hold each other accountable for.
Exactly. The Philippines already passed its first nationally determined contribution. So this is our mitigation commitment under the Paris Agreement. And our goal is to limit our our greenhouse gas emission by 75% based from our emission level in 2010 by 2030. However, after a year, to this day, we still don't have a clear roadmap on how to implement this target. And a huge portion of this 75% target, which is at 72.29%, is contingent on foreign support. So we need to identify the clear policies and measures. At the same time, the amount of financing that we need to be able to transition to a low carbon economy.
Well, here's hoping that the incoming administration puts this top of the list. It certainly is one of those most important things that we really need to be acting on. Your group, Climate Reality Project, is suggesting several ways to address the climate crisis. Key points are shift to renewable energy, sustainable urban mobility, and the fight versus single-use plastics. Briefly tell us a little bit more about these key areas and how can we all sort of get on board?
Okay, the first is Re-Energize program. It's advancing renewables in the Philippines. And our main issues that we want to tackle here are issues of energy affordability, accessibility, and reliability. And for the Mobility Award, we convened with other civil society organizations such as Institute for Climate and Sustainable Cities, Manila Move, 350.org Pilipinas, Pinay by Community Commuters, at the same time 27 regional partners across the Philippines to talk about democracy and equity on our streets. So more than recognizing the acts of leadership of local government units, workplaces, and commercial establishments, encouraging cycling, walking, and other sustainable modes of transportation, we also want to talk about the majority of Filipinos who are not prioritize roads, because right now, like in Metro Manila, only 12% who own cars are prioritized in our roads. How about the 88%? So we want to tackle that issue. We saw in the during the pandemic a different light about cycling. It has been a primary mode of transportation of our frontliners. So we want to give them that space and priority. And lastly, the single-use plastic. It's a campaign where we educate people on the intersection of plastics and the climate crisis. So there's a study by UNEP that by 2050 there will be more plastics in the ocean than fishes. So that will be further exacerbated by the impacts of climate change.
Right. This is a serious problem. And like I said, we all need to pitch in. Climate Reality Project is also tapping arts to help educate people on climate action. This is great. How are you doing this?
So we know that with the implementation of the anti-terrorism law, um, activities like raising our voices because of injustice, at the same time demanding government for accountability, and even calling out our government for inaction, those activities shouldn't be scary, shouldn't be dangerous, or shouldn't be seen as threatening. So this under this program, we call it the Climartivism. It's a play of words, climate, art, and activism, where we encourage younger generation to join the space where they could share, or they could send a message, convey a message of apathy and even despair, without coming from a space of love, hope, and many more.
All right. Well, that is important stuff. We really do need to keep that in mind. Thank you once again, Nazrin, for joining us here on New Day.